What's going on? My name's Dan, and today I want to talk to you about water fluoridation. So fluoride is a chemical, a drug, that is used in tooth care. It helps you keep your teeth white, it supposedly helps against cavities, prevents future tooth decay, all of these great things. It's put in our toothpaste, in our mouthwash, it's given to our children at school, and it's put in our water. So water fluoridation began in the 1950s, I believe about halfway through 1955 area, but don't quote me on that, I am not a historian. It was started to put into the water just for general dental hygiene, you know, just to keep people's pearly whites looking pearly white. But this isn't okay because the FDA recognizes fluoride as a drug. Not a nutrient, it's not essential, we don't need it. It actually has a lot of adverse effects. Anyway, the FDA classifies fluoride as a drug. So, if you're putting fluoride into the water supply, which is drank by millions of peoples, children, adults, the elderly, the disabled, me and you, if you're putting fluoride in there, isn't that mass medication? Isn't that unethical / illegal? I see it that way, and that's pretty messed up. But let's move past that. Fluoride, its effects are meant to be topical. You don't swallow it for it to work on your teeth. You brush your teeth with it and then you spit it out. When I was in 6th grade, they gave us little fluoride shots that we swished around in our mouth, and then we spit it back out. Because if you swallow fluoride, it just builds up in your system and builds up and builds up in your bones, leads to bone disease, it leads to all kinds of very bad things when it comes to your body. It will shut you down. Well, anything can shut you down if you have too much of it, but I just don't see why the government would openly put it in our water supply. And we don't spit our water back out, we swallow it. We ingest it systemically. We ingest it, and that's not good. I mean, when you're taking in fluoride on the daily, your pineal gland is getting calcified daily. And for those of you who don't know, your pineal gland, whatever you want to call it, it's in your head, in between the two hemispheres of your brain, right smack dab in the middle. Some people call it the third eye. That's for another video. But this pineal gland produces melatonin and tryptophan. Melatonin regulates your sleep patterns, tryptophan regulates your dreams. Tryptophan is also identical to DMT, also known as dimethyltryptamine. That's a drug, very strong hallucinogen, but that'll be discussed in the video about the third eye. Well, the third eye will be discussed in the video about DMT, but I want to move on past all that. Fluoride builds up in the pineal gland, and this fluoride builds up, and you look at the pineal gland where there are large concentrations of fluoride, there's even larger concentrations of calcium. Calcium stops the production of these chemicals. It stops your body from being able to enter a true meditative state, I guess you could say. It prevents a lot of things that some people look at as having no value whatsoever, but people who are interested in awakening themselves spiritually may find this a little odd. Because let's just suppose for a second that the governments of the world aren't in control of the countries that they govern. What if there's a group of people, let's call them the Illuminati, let's call them the Bilderbergs, let's call them the Illuminazis, let's call them the shadow government. I like that a lot better. It doesn't point fingers and name names. This shadow government knows that we are God. This shadow government knows that we have the ability to do anything that we want. And they know that that's through the pineal gland, through self-awakening, through spiritual enlightenment. So, they find this chemical that has been known to calcify that gland, calcify or prevent the spiritual awakening, so they start to put it in the water. And by the time you're 12 years old, your gland is fucked. Excuse my French, but your gland is covered in calcium. You look into there, it's all fluoride. It all comes from the fluoride. Not only that, but they put bleach in our water as well. Bleach in little minuscule amounts is good, I guess you could say. It will purify your water, it disinfect it, make it safe to drink. But if you put too much bleach in there, it's deadly. Absolutely deadly. I don't know if you've ever worked with bleach, but at my work, at the end of the year, we clean everything. We scrub everything down. Ceilings, walls, burners, fucking everything. I'll be up on a ladder for an hour at a time just scrubbing the ceiling with the bleach. I'll come down and I will be high. And I mean, I'm all for getting high. I'm an avid pot smoker, but it's not right. You're not supposed to be putting these things that are A, toxic, and B, produce a different mental state. I just don't see why that's a good thing and why we let that happen. If you let that happen and you don't have a problem with it, then there's something wrong and you might want to get yourself looked at. I know a good psychologist. You might have to drive halfway across the country, but I'll help you out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave on that note. Namaste.